Hello, my name is Danny Nowlan and I'm the Director of ChassisSim Technologies. And welcome to this latest episode of Dan's Vehicle Dynamics Corner. And today, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be talking about is why simulation, what you get out of it. Now, one of the more popular videos on our YouTube channel has been why simulation needs to be one of the first things you do. And there I made the case of why simulation needs to be an integral cog of what you do with regards to engineering your car and what you learn from it. Now, the purpose of what we're going to be talking about today is the companion video to this, and what we're going to be talking about is, as we discussed in the previous video, simulation is a necessary tool if you're going to be serious about results. I mean, we talked about that almost ad nauseum in why simulation needs to be one of the first things you do. Now, but what we're going to talk about today is what you get out of it, and here's why. Firstly, it's a tool that can help you reverse engineer vehicle parameters. If anything, I was talking about this recently with my Australian dealer, and he said to me, with regards to when you race engineer a car, the two grey areas that you'll always deal with is the aero and the tyres. And the great thing about what you get out of simulation is it goes a great way to filling in the blanks on those two particular areas. It's also a representative environment to play the what ifs, and that's really, really critical, because what it does is it mentally prepares you for the race weekend. It also helps you make sense of the data, which feeds into that point we just discussed. And the huge takeaway that you get from this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about this in depth in just a moment, is this gives you confidence. And that is something, particularly in this business, that's absolutely critical. Okay, why sim? Reverse, what you get out of simulation? Reverse engineering vehicle parameters. Probably the two most powerful features of ChassisSim is its aeromodeling and tyre force modeling toolbox, because what this does is it takes race data and fills in the blanks of what you don't know. What you're seeing there, ladies and gentlemen, is a reverse engineered world time attack tyre. Now, what's really important about that is that's a tyre that once it gets up to temperature, it really doesn't want any more load. And one of the great things about reverse engineering this from vehicle data is it gives you an exact snapshot of what's going on, but more importantly, you're going to see stuff from reverse engineering vehicle data, particularly the tire model, that is very, very difficult to see on a rig. Now, of course, obviously, if you've got rig data, sure, you'd be silly not to look at it. However, what this does is it takes the rig data you get and makes a hell of a lot more sense on it, because you're now actually capturing the environment that it's happened in. And that is so critical to making sense of the data that you get back. I often say that simulation often takes up where data acquisition tools leave off. Why sim? Correlation. Once you have done the vehicle modeling and you've done it properly, this is your business as usual. So what we've got: speed, throttle, front dampers, rear dampers, steer, lateral G, longitudinal G, front and rear roll. Here's the thing that this gives you, ladies and gentlemen. It gives you confidence. It also acts as a very, very important bellwether when things don't go to plan, and that is absolutely critical, which is another key thing that you get out of simulation. Why sim? It's a representative environment. The payoff of all the modeling is it gives you a playground to play all the what ifs, and that is so critical. This is an example of, and what this does is it eliminates your guesswork. Now, this here is an example of the critical call that I made with the NA Autosport entry at World Time Attack Challenge last year. This was the front dive plane change, and as you can see, this is a classic case of what a good simulated change looks like. And this is really, really critical, because now you've got that playground to play the what ifs, so you're mentally prepared. So what's the payoff of all this? Let me discuss the PR1 Motorsports LMPC entry over the years. The PR1 Motorsports team, their primary R&D tool was ChassisSim. They didn't have the cash to go through rig testing. They didn't have the cash to go through and go on a tire rig. ChassisSim was it. And I remember discussing this with the race engineer in question, my US dealer, John Hayes. And we talked about this at length. And I remember we were sitting down at a dinner discussion with a colleague of ours. And, and one of my colleagues said to me, "So, Danny, what's your business about?" And before I could get the words out of my mouth, John Hayes just turned around as only John can, and he just said, "This gives you confidence. It gives you the confidence that by the time you get on that pit wall, you are not guessing." Because the payoff, ladies and gentlemen, is what you're seeing there is the cherry on top. The reason of what you're getting out of simulation, what you're getting out of simulation is by reverse engineering the vehicle parameters. It's helping you make sense of the data. It's giving you that representative environment that is not entered in fantasy land, and it then gives you that background to play the what ifs. And that, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is what you are going to get out of simulation. Some takeaways and food for thought. I think it goes without saying, simulation is a key motorsports engineering tool, and I just don't say that because I have a vested financial interest in it. I say this from years and years of people using this in the ChassisSim community through categories as diverse as open wheel or sports cars, GT, V8 supercars, club cars, time attack cars, you name it. If it's got four wheels, chances are we've probably done it. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, to really ram home this point, by reverse engineering the vehicle parameters, it helps you make sense of the data. With good correlation, you know you're not in fantasy land. It also acts as a bellwether when things don't go to plan, and that is really, really key. Because if something goes bang on your car, by overlaying actual data and correlating it, you've got a very, very good bellwether to see if something has gone bang. It also gives you a representative environment to play the what ifs, and here's the number one thing it gives you, ladies and gentlemen: it brings to the party confidence, so you know what you're doing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you get out of simulation. But don't take my word for it. If you're not currently using ChassisSim, go to our online simulation tab, download the software, have a play with it, and see for yourself why ChassisSim is such a critical tool. And we will catch you in the next episode of Dan's Vehicle Dynamics Corner.